Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. I want to do a reading here today on what we're actually looking at with this pandemic, and I want to get some insight into if we're going to get shut down again, what we're looking at here, and if I could just give us some insight and some pointers into how to, cope through the rest of the year. So this reading is going to cover November and December for COVID, the pandemic in the United States. This is a tarot reading. It is a general reading. If you are not interested or if it's not resonating with you, click out of the video, okay? So I'm going to pull a few cards here. I've got a few different decks. The first deck, I wrote down notes, like pull cards on. So the first deck that I'm using is the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck, and I will be using this deck to get some insight into what's the tea, what's really going on with COVID right now, what is it? Because there is this, it almost feels like we're children and our parents are trying to keep something away from us, but we know what's going on, but we don't necessarily know all the details and all of the things. So I'm gonna pull card from this deck, get some insight into COVID overall in general. What's the deal here? Cut that. And then I am going to use my favorite deck next, Wild Unknown Tarot, and gonna look into what's actually being done. Is anything going on? Is this the focus right now as far as the government is concerned? And also going to pull a card on what it's looking like as far as having to get shut down again goes. So we'll see here. Pulled boundaries. I'm going to pull the other cards first before I start reading anything. Or at least for this first portion of the spread. I've broken this down. Son of Swords. Son of Swords and Judgment, y'all. So the Son of Swords is a swift, it is not a subtle energy, and it typically comes in with some sort of message that needs to be heard or needs to be seen or needs to be read. Judgment, which, before I even read these cards, puts me into the space to believe that COVID could get a little bit more dangerous. We could be put into a position to where we have to shut down immediately, promptly, without preparation, or because that is a card of carrying something in, there could be some sort of cure that comes in, but I am straying from that. It's not what I'm feeling. All right, let's see what's popping here. Okay. That's interesting. Can I get some clarity? What are they waiting for? I haven't pulled a card, but don't tell me it's the election. I know that's not the deal. Huh. Yeah, wow. Okay. All right, so I'm going to read this first part of the spread for you guys. Just pissed me off. So what we're looking at here, we've got the Boundaries card, the Six of Swords, the Daughter of Swords, the Devil, and the Four of Wands. Okay, and in these cards, what the positions are is where are we really with COVID right now? What's like, is anything being done to, like, what is the government doing right now? And then I asked, are we looking at getting shut down again? And you guys saw me saying, oh, that's interesting, because the first thought that I was they don't know. They're waiting to see, and that's what you guys heard me say. What are they waiting for? And I pulled the Devil card and the Four of Wands. And you heard me say before I even pulled the card, I hope it's not the election. And I actually think they're waiting to see who wins the election, or waiting to see what happens with the election to see if they need to shut us down. So COVID is mixing and mingling with other political things happening right now. The focus of COVID is not the health. It's really not the health of the people, and I hate to say it, but I think we all knew that. With this boundaries card, what we're looking at here is we're in a space to where we know there are precautions that we can take to prevent ourselves from contracting this virus. There are things that we can do to stop the spread of the virus. But the energy that I get with this card is I get like a rough fire energy is the best way that I can put it. And the message that I'm picking up with that is that these boundaries are well known, but for some reason they're not being adhered to right now. And that is on the level of the government, and that's also on the level of the people. Like, I can say, I was fake quarantining for real at the beginning, but as things got better, so to speak, I went out and mixed and mingled. I still, I, for the most part, kept myself as socially distanced as possible from people I didn't know. But, nobody was really taking this serious. I won't say nobody, because I know there are people out there that are really taking it seriously. But for the most part, there is a large portion of the population that social distancing does not mean anything to them. Masks, y'all have heard the anti-maskers talking about this is an infringement upon my rights. People are still unhygienic, not washing their hands, coughing into their hands, touching everything, just doing weird, gross shit. So there are boundaries that need to be adhered to that are not being adhered to, and this is coming up at the forefront to say, and you guys, I pulled that Judgment card fell out when the deck split while I was shuffling. That Judgment card fell out, and what I pick up is that unfortunately, there might be an instance in which something happens that is going to show the people and the government, like, oh no, we need to enforce these things. We need to enforce these restrictions, these precautions, because if we don't, y'all thought we were in a pandemic right now. If something doesn't shift, it's going to be a lot of more bodies going up. COVID don't care about nothing else but wreaking havoc, you know what I'm saying? So I pulled the Six of Swords in the position of, well, what is the government really doing? They're thinking, they're trying. What are they doing for us? They're trying. There are people, medical professionals, that are working on a vaccine. I am not into vaccines, but I know there are people out there that would be willing to take it. So for those of you that are waiting for that information, they are. It's just, and there's hope for it. It's I won't say slow moving, because this is a Swords card. This is an air card. So like, there's hope. It is moving, but it's not moving as swiftly as, the collective needs it to move. Now, on the other hand, what I get is that there's conversation. There's conversation about what can be done, what needs to be done, and there are arguments. If you look at the imagery on this card, there are 6 swords on the bottom. They're jumbled. There's darkness. But at the top, you see a rainbow. So what is going on here is, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of politics involved in this. And I won't go so far as into, it's this part of politics and this part of politics. But there's a lot of talk and a lot of conversation and a lot of debate behind how do we handle COVID? How do we get a grip on COVID? And nobody's coming to a common ground at this point. So what is the government doing right now? They are arguing about what they're going to do. And that doesn't really help the people. Unfortunately, I know that doesn't give y'all an answer, but that's what it is. Now, this is the one that I know we are all waiting for, that we are all looking for. I said, are we getting shut down? And I got the Daughter of Swords, which, when I pulled it, so when I read this card, I read it with the energy of somebody who is sitting, they don't have all the knowledge yet. they don't necessarily know, but they are sitting pretty, they're keeping it cute, and they're watching to see what's going to go down, to see what's going to transpire, to see, and like they sit quietly and they watch to see what is going to happen so that they can make their next move. So are we going to get shut down? Right now, the answer is honestly, nobody actually knows. There is conversation about it. It is happening. Like, no, well, there we go. That's not what I meant to say, but that slipped. That I didn't mean to say that. That wasn't in my brain, but apparently it is happening. But as far as this energy is concerned, as of right now, it's not happening right now. And I asked why. What are they waiting for? And again, as y'all heard me say, don't tell me it's the election. And pulled the devil card, and I pulled the Four of Wands. And I read the Four of Wands as a manifestation card, as of looking into and getting a glimpse into the future and really planning for the future and getting ready to make moves on it. And then you've got the devil card. So what is actually going on is there's not a definite answer on if the country is getting shut down again. But what that is dependent upon, unfortunately, is how this election goes. We're not going to get shut down before the election. That's in like a week, a few days. It was, I don't know, it's in a week. I think today is Tuesday or Thursday. I don't know what today is. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's within the week, or it's coming up within like a week and a couple of days. So, you know why I don't know that? Because I have already filled out my ballot and already dropped it off. So I don't know what's happening. I'll be tuned in watching the results. But what I get is that they don't know yet. They're waiting to see who takes the election, first of all. And depending on who takes the election is really going to give us an idea of what's going to happen. You guys know if the one candidate takes it, we're staying open for the economy. If the other candidate takes it, we may not shut down completely, but it will be enforced. However, if the other candidate takes it, it's going to be a while before that can be enforced. So if that happens, we're looking at dealing with COVID and increases of COVID for the next couple of months, taking us out through the end of the year. So with that being said, either way it goes, these cases are going to be spiking. Not sure if we're getting shut down yet. Excuse me. They're waiting to see what's going to happen. And I mean, that's rough. When I pull cards on, current energy's always shifting. So I may put up an Instagram TV video with an update on this after the election. And depending on what candidate wins, okay? Now I want to look at the economy. I want to look at the economy and government assistance for us. As we know, many of us are on reduced hours. Many of us don't have jobs. Many of us are working from home. Many of us are tapping into our savings. Many of us ain't got no money to carry us through a pandemic. And that little $1,200, I don't know what that was supposed to do, but that's my rent for a month. So, thanks. But also, I still got rent to pay. Hello. So let's see what's popping off with the finances, with the economy. What are we looking at for the next couple of months? Remember, we're looking over November and December in regards to this pandemic, okay? And this is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. All these decks will be linked in the description box. Fork in the road. Fork in the road. Okay. Oh, well, that makes sense. That's the current state of the economy, or what's going on with the economy. And with this deck, this is my Fountain Tarot deck. Let's get some insight into what we're looking like for this government assistance, which I think is the main energy behind the Fork in the Road card there. Let's see, what's government assistance looking like for us in November and December? Are they going to stimulate my account or what? Ten of Cups. So there's going to be some sort of government assistance coming in within November and December. I don't know that it's going to be a lot, and I also don't even know that it's actually going to be money. They may not give us money. They may actually just put out some sort of laws that stop us from having to pay bills or something. But as of right now, what's going on with the economy is that, and this is evident in the news, like we see this, we hear conversations. There are people, like we talk about this in our day to day. There are some that are like, look, we cannot afford to shut down the country again. And then there are some that are like, okay, we can't afford to shut down the country, but we can what country are we going to have if everybody's dead? So there's an argument right now behind that. There's also the argument of what is a sufficient amount of money to stimulate us with, what type of assistance needs to go out. So the stuff that we read in the articles that's just the top. That's just like the little icing on the cake. That is not the batter. It's not the filling, okay? That we haven't even scratched the surface. So there are so many other things being talked about when it comes to the economy and when it comes to assistance. But what it boils down to is that the people that are living in the States right now, we are not in a position to where we're going to be able to afford any of the bills that we have if there is not some sort of government assistance that goes out. And the current energy of the collective of this particular country right now is restless. It is on edge. So especially after the election happening, whichever way it goes, there's going to be a group of people that are pissed off. Couple that with not having any money and not having any resources. So in order to bring rest to the country, they're going to have to assist us in some sort of way. We've got the 10 of Cups, so it's going to help, and it's going to hold us over for a while. It's going to hold over the things as far as on a personal level our finances go, but there's still going to be things coming up as far as the state of the economy on a whole. But as of right now, for November and December, you guys don't stress too much. And also keep in mind, when you think things in a negative light and you have worry and you have doubt and you have a lack mentality, it does pour over into the physical for you. So, I've pulled these cards here, but if you continue through these next couple of months like, oh my gosh, I don't have the money that I need, well, guess what? Somehow, some way, you not gonna tap into the 10 of Cups. Everybody else will, but your finances is gonna be messed up and intact. So just be mindful of the way that you're thinking. Now that you've seen this 10 of Cups card, try to adopt the thought that the money that you need will be manifesting in the time that you need it. You will be okay. You have what you need. It's coming. All right, you guys. I want to pull one more card and give us some, some love, some pointers, a soul message. I want to give us a soul message for how to cope for the next couple of months, because 2020 apparently is not letting up. It's only 2 months left in the year, so there's that. So I'm going to pull a card and see what Spirit has to tell us. How can we keep our zen, keep our sanity, make it through, stay alive, also stay healthy, and stay prepared. I was going to say stay strapped, but that's for the racial climate video. That was not for this one. All right, let's see what's popping off. What is the soul message for the collective? What does Spirit have for me to relay to the collective in regards to dealing with this COVID pandemic energy for November and December? Ooh, there's abundance and spiritual teaching. Oh, I get 2 messages with that abundance card. Abundance, spiritual teaching, and flow. So I pulled abundance, spiritual teaching, and flow. And you've got master number energy here, and you've got 10 appearing twice. So new starts, new foundations. The focus on a soul level, the message for us, aside from all this political, government, health, organizational shit, the message for us on a soul level right now is that we really have to focus on allowing the things that are coming into play to play out, because everything is happening in divine timing. The world looks crazy right now because things have to change. Spiritual teaching, okay? Allow everything to play out, flow. And then also, as I mentioned earlier with that 10 of Cups card, think with an abundant mindset, because things are about to get wild. Things are already wild, but they're going to get a little bit more wild here in a second, especially with like these 2 retrogrades ending, and then we still have those the outer planet retrogrades carrying us through the end of the year. Then there's some tough aspects happening astrologically. So it is important to keep your zen, keep your mental in a positive headspace, so that you are not consumed by the things that are going on around you. Now, stay alert, stay cognizant of everything that's going on around us, because everything is like our energy. What's happening right now is there's an energetic shift, and I could talk about this for hours on end, but when you, and especially when the collective energy gets ready to shift, that things happen in the physical. We are having a whole pandemic. There is a major shift in the collective energy that's going on right now. It's like when you get sick, if you ever notice, if you ever do like a big cleansing ritual, you might end up with the sniffles or a cold for a couple of days shortly after. So just keep in mind that everything transpiring is transpiring because it needs to. Go with the flow. Allow everything to happen as it happens. Pay attention to the things transpiring, because there's new things coming in. We've got to learn from our experiences as a society right now. And then just keep a positive. I know it's easier said than done, especially with everything happening during this year, but try to keep a positive mindset. Try to still manifest positive intentions, because they're still going to play out for us. We just got a pandemic, but all the good things are still going to come. Just keep that in mind. So that is what I got for us for these last couple of months with this COVID pandemic. We may or may not get shut down again. They are waiting to see what the results of the election are before they tell us that. There is something they're working on, trying to get things together, but what it boils down to is that we really have to buckle in, dig our heels into these preventative actions in order to stop the spread of this virus, especially because we're going into a new cold season and viruses mutate. Like, hello, do y'all not watch X-Men or like zombie movies? Like, come on now. Like, we've got to keep it cute, get our shit together so that we can enjoy summer 2021. Like, I'm about to eat and put on my pounds and hit the gym and plan trips, and like, I don't want to be held up because of a pandemic. So, there's not much that as a people, what we can do is remain as safe and keep our peers as safe as possible. As far as the government, they know what they need to do. They really just trying to see what's going down with this election. That is their main focus right now. It is not the pandemic, and it is not the people. And as far as financial assistance goes, we'll hear something shortly after the election, which y'all's president said that anyway. But, especially if he ends up, either way it goes, whether he's leaving office or going into a second term, he's going to want to, right after the election, do something that wins the approval of the people. I would not be surprised if it were some sort of financial assistance or another stimulus package or stimulus checks. Okay? And that's all I got for you. If you want a personal reading, book one. Etsy shops, link down below. I'm not about to plug all of my videos because I'm hungry and I need to go fix me something to eat. So do me a favor and actually read the description in the description box, because it's hella stuff happening in the cosmos, and I got videos on all of it. So watch it, subscribe it, wait, like bop it, twist it, flip it, watch it, subscribe, and book a reading if you feel like you like to book a reading, if you feel like you need one. Support Black businesses, support Black women-owned businesses. And I lied. I was like, I'm not going to plug anything, and then I just plugged y'all's ears off, so I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Actually not sorry. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will catch y'all next time. Stay safe. Stay safe, stay healthy. Wash them hands, okay?